Do I do this walk up because I'm desperate for you guys to see my outfit or because I'm desperate for extra attention? Keep watching and you might find out. Hey y'all, Snarky J cosplay here. As of the time of this video's recording, this channel has hit yet another milestone. Yay! We officially hit 300,000 subscribers. I am so grateful that so many people, 300,000 people in fact, have taken the time to let me be part of their day, your day, presumably. So thank you so much. To celebrate 300,000, I went over a couple of different ideas, but to be honest, I think what a lot of people really like are Q&A videos. So in this one, I have taken questions both from a post I made here on YouTube and questions from folks over on Instagram, so I'm going to be answering as many of y'all's questions as possible. With that being said, let's get into it. Why Snarky J? Okay, I love answering this one because I get it all the time. Anytime somebody has to bitch about me on a subreddit or complain about me in the comments or has to make a video about me, whatever, they always talk about the fact that you should not be listening to the opinions of somebody who calls themselves Snarky J because I'm probably going into things with a pessimistic point of view. But the fact of the matter is that I always introduce myself as Snarky J cosplay because I did cosplay way before I did YouTube. Back in the day, I wanted to make a cosplay account and I wanted something that had maybe an adjective that would be catchy right in front of J and cosplay, which would obviously define what I was doing. So I thought snarky would be good because my dad has frequently used that word to describe me. I thought snarky just meant sarcastic, but it turns out it also means bitchy, so thanks Pops. And at that point, I had already picked the name. I basically just set the username before I really figured out the real definition. It works for recognition and identity across Instagram and YouTube, so that's why I'm Snarky J. What are your favorite bands or artists? My taste in music kind of skews towards the alternative and rock side. I'm a really big The Doors fan. I love the Rolling Stones, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, that kind of thing. But I also really love some modern rock bands. Arctic Monkeys is probably my #1, followed by Greta Van Fleet. I don't care that they're baby Led Zeppelin. They are fantastic. Nobody makes music like that anymore. And I'm also a huge Hozier fan because I like kind of like mellow, folksy stuff. If you weren't making YouTube content, what would you be doing instead? Also, who's your favorite Marvel villain? My degree is in public relations and advertising. If I was not doing YouTube, I would probably be getting replaced by AI at an ad agency, so I'm glad this worked out. As far as my favorite Marvel villain, I think DC has better villains, but if I had to pick a Marvel one, definitely Dr. Doom. I love him, especially when he's not being played by Robert Downey Jr. Which cosplay do you really want to do, but the attention to detail of the character is a bit much? I have 2 cosplays that are really nagging at me. One of which is a Spartan from Halo. I've mentioned that a few times on this channel already. It's not really so much the attention to details a nightmare. I just don't want to have to worry about commissioning that much 3D printing and then do that much sanding and finishing. It looks like a nightmare. But the other thing that I'm really thinking about, I'm working on War from Darksiders, which I've kind of managed to break down in my head a little bit, but I really want to do Death from Darksiders 2, specifically this armor. There's so much detail that it's really holding me back. I don't think I'll ever do it, but I would love to do this. How big is your closet, or how many unique dresses do you have? I have no idea how many actual dresses I have. I'm kind of a shopaholic. I really like clothes and fashion, and because I'm always on camera, I feel like I have more of an excuse to buy clothes. So at this point, it's kind of like a vicious cycle, but I do have a pretty big closet. My question is, when it comes to the videos, how much of what you say is what you script beforehand, and how much is off the cuff, pure J passion? It's always going to depend on the video. There are some videos that I really script out and other ones where I basically only give myself bullet points, but I would tell you that on average, it's probably 70-30. 70% is totally off the cuff and 30% is scripted. Realistically, any one of my videos just gets an outline. Some outlines are going to be more detailed than others, but most of the time I just give myself bullet points, and off of one sentence I can talk for 12 minutes. It's a gift and a curse works. You can ask anybody that's ever had to deal with me, and I'm sorry for anybody that's ever been on a date with me, but that's basically how it works. Your walking in intro, how did that happen? And I'll answer that in just a minute, but first, here's a word from this video's sponsor. It sounds scary, but the number of data breaches worldwide increases each year. Every other day, we're hearing about breaches and mega breaches, which means that you and your loved ones are constantly at risk of having your personal info exposed online. Protecting your personal information is important, and that's exactly where today's sponsor, Incogni, comes in. Incogni tracks down and removes your personal data from multiple sites, including online directories, people search sites, and even commercial databases. The process is fully automated for hundreds of known data brokers, companies that collect and sell your data without your consent. Data can reappear on these sites, so our friends over at Incogni continuously remove it for you. They even have a custom removal feature designed to take things down. Just send them a link to where your data is exposed and they'll take care of it. Incogni does way more than just automated data removal though. Incogni helps you reduce the risk of scams, protect your online and offline privacy, and they'll take back control of your personal data. In just 3 easy steps, you can be protected. All you have to do is create an account, authorize Incogni to remove your information for you, and they'll get to work removing your data from brokers on their list. And they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Incogni is the proven solution in a space too often marred by shady players. They are verified and working hard to actually remove your personal data every day. Use code SnarkyJ at the link below to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan, or go to incogni.com/SnarkyJ. Make sure you take advantage of this exclusive offer. Okay, so I actually can't remember the exact video where that originated from. I know for a fact that I was just trying to be dramatic, so I don't know if it was a movie review or if it was a really bad episode of She-Hulk or what it was, but I know that I basically was like, okay, how do I address this? And I wanted to be dramatic about it, so I walked to the back corner of the room and I walked up like I was just sighing, like I didn't know what to say. And that's where that came from. And I got so many comments from people that liked the walk up that I tested it for a couple other videos. And initially when I started this channel, it was kind of just like an every once in a while thing. But then people started actually getting upset with me when I wouldn't walk up in a video. So now I actually just feel obligated to walk up in every video. I get comments all the time from people accusing me of wanting to show off what clothes I'm wearing, which, I mean, at the end of the day, I dress nice for every video because this is kind of like my thing. I want to look nice on camera, so I'm not mad that it shows off my outfit. But a lot of people also tend to think that I'm just doing it to show off my body. 90% of my cosplay photos on Instagram are full body, so me walking up has nothing to do with that. It's basically just that people really like it after a while, and now everybody just gets mad and insults me if I don't do it, and I don't want to deal with it, so I've just been walking up for the past year. Have you ever considered making or starring in movies? I don't think I would ever want to make, as in write, direct, produce my own movies, but I for years really wanted to be an actress, and I think I still had that dream until recently. I don't think that I would ever make it in Hollywood for a number of different reasons, but primarily I just don't think I have the look, the physique, or anything that they would be wanting over there, and I don't have the connections, so I basically gave up on that. It's not really all that important to me to get there, and to be honest, I think it's probably for the best. What type of camera and editing software do you use for your videos? I shoot on a Sony a6600 and I use Premiere Pro for all my editing. I wouldn't say it's the most user-friendly thing, but I learned to use it, and I'm terrible at technology, so it works. This is a good one. What's something you do to stay grounded, especially in light of some of the hostility you encounter? Back in the day, used to argue with every comment. I would go through Reddit and find the posts about me, and I would argue with people there. And I think I just got old enough and tired enough of it where I was like, if you're taking the time to click and leave a shitty comment, or taking even more time to make a post on a fucking subreddit thread about me. You obviously have more time on your hands than I will ever have, therefore it's just not worth it to me. It's just that simple. I've just learned to move on. If you could permanently delete any show or movie series within the last 10 years, what would it be and why would it probably be the Crow reboot? Okay, I'll give you two answers. I'll give you a show and a movie. If it was a movie, yes, the Crow reboot, I would delete it because to me it is a permanent stain on the legacy of my favorite movie, The Crow. And if I got to delete a TV series, it would be The Book of Boba Fett. I thought he was the coolest guy in the f***ing galaxy, and then Disney on him, and it really just devastated me. I had never had a character that I loved that much be so viciously ruined by a corporation that if I could forget that show existed, I would be so grateful. Will you take us behind the scenes into your costume construction, like the painful sewing / gluing process? I like that you said / gluing because you remember I don't sew. I actually do really want to make more behind the scenes videos of cosplays. Unfortunately, 99% of the time I'm usually either in my pajamas or too wrapped up in what I'm doing to even remember to record, or both. So I do want to get more into that. I have some big projects that I want to kind of bring you guys along on as far as like a multi-part vlog series goes. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. What's your favorite cosplay so far? So I think this is a 3 cosplay answer, and I know that that's cheating. I would say the first one is Optimus Prime. That was such a labor of love. I had never done anything that complex or detailed. I did it right after my cat died because I needed a distraction. I don't think the cosplay gets as much love as I maybe would have wanted it to get, but I really didn't do it for the likes. I did it for me, and I am so proud of it. I would say that the cosplay that I feel the best in and have the most fun in is probably Catwoman, because I feel like that's a very specific part of my personality that I have to put away, but I love the cat ears and the leather and the whip. I learned how to crack a whip just for that cosplay. If I had to get rid of all of them, the one that I would keep would be Wonder Woman, because to me Wonder Woman is like an aspirational character, and that's the character that I go visit kids in hospitals and medical facilities. I've even gone to old folks' homes. So for me, it's like, yeah, that's just my like service cosplay, and it feels nice to have something that represents so much good that I can do good with. You're funny AF, thank you. So I'm wondering where you got your sense of humor from. My dad and I are basically the same person. We have very similar senses of humor, so I definitely get it from him. I'll also admit that so much of my personality is basically just pieces of different stand-up comedians and no longer politically correct comedy movies that I've just taken and embedded in my brain. What was your reaction when you heard DMX's "We Right Here" uncensored? So for people that don't understand that context, I said in a video a while back that my dad used to play that song on my way to school, except he would stand there muting all the bad words. I think I heard it fully uncensored for the first time maybe like 5 years ago when I downloaded it on my own phone, and I was like, holy shit. This song is so nasty. My poor dad got so good with that volume knob. That was so funny. Do you enjoy the con experience more as just a face in the crowd or in full cosplay? I cannot and will not go to Comic-Con in anything other than a cosplay. And I know that that sounds so terrible, and I realized a couple of months ago what a nightmare that is, because I had somebody come up to my booth and speak to me at a convention a few months back, and they literally told me, like, you don't look the way you do on YouTube, which kind of sucks. This is my biggest channel. And then I show up and I'm like painted all kinds of weird colors or dressed up as other people wearing wigs, all that shit. But to be honest, I just hate walking through a convention center as a person. I want to be a character. That's so much more fun to me. Most unexpected part of running a YouTube channel. I would say that it's so weird how much time you spend thinking about YouTube when you're not doing it. Because for me, to be honest, I always thought work was like I do this from 9 to 5 and I don't think about this anymore. I spend probably 99% of my time with YouTube either actively at the forefront of my mind or at least like running in the background while I'm trying to do other things. I really didn't think that I would get that into this, but that's the only way to do it. So yeah, I would say that the unexpected part is how much time you spend with this actively occupying your every waking thought. How come no live streaming content? That is a great question. So I don't like having specific live streaming schedules. I really couldn't fit live streaming into my work schedule as a consistent 3 to 4 times a week thing. And also, I don't like live streaming. I have been live on a few channels at this point of people who are friends and have really done nothing but been kind to me. Unfortunately, moderators can only do so much. You end up having to read so many obscene, horrible, cruel, insane things about yourself in real time that I just decided I didn't want to do it anymore. So I don't see myself going back to doing live streaming on anybody else's channel or on mine. It's just not worth it to me. What was your most uncomfortable cosplay? Yeah, so that again goes to Optimus Prime. I want you guys to look at this for a second, this full body picture. So because I'm wearing leg armor, I kind of have to walk like a cowboy because my thighs naturally rub together at the top, so I had to kind of widen my stance. Then because there's big tires on the sides of my legs, I had to be careful not to hit the tires on things, so it's like you have to walk a little wider, but also keep your calves in so you don't hit the tires on things. I can only bend my elbow to about that much because there's armor that keeps me from doing this. I have very little use of my fingers because there's robot fingers on, and then the helmet literally weighs like 4 pounds and squeezes the out of my head as the day goes on. So I actively almost fainted in this. Can't stand it. I've never put it back on, and I don't think I ever will. Do you play video games? Not as often as I'd like to or used to, but I'm really into open world stuff like Red Dead Redemption. I loved the older Assassin's Creed series. Telltale, also, I have a really soft spot for them. I love Darksiders. I'm not good at puzzles, but I love good character design, and I have been in a really deep Final Fantasy hole for the past like 5 or 6 years. So yeah. Is there a lot of drama behind the scenes with content creators in your niche, and how do you handle it? So that's a two-part answer, I guess, because my niche is technically cosplay on Instagram and movies and stuff here. As far as I know, I don't think there's any drama within like the movie people here. As far as the cosplay community, I know that there is a ton of drama with people all the time, but to be completely honest, I don't really participate a lot in a community sense. I just put my things out there. If I have a booth at a convention, I sit, I go to work, and I go home. I don't have the patience for drama. I was not raised to deal with gossip or bullshit. I don't care enough to get into it. So I know it's out there. I just don't care. I don't get involved. Being so busy all the time, what is your favorite way to relax when you have free time? My two relaxing activities usually happen simultaneously. I love singing, so I'll just put on music and jam out for a while. And that also usually happens in conjunction with drawing. I've said a few times on this channel that I'm an illustrator on the side, but I've always loved drawing. That's really relaxing and fun to me. So typically if I've had a long day and I have the time, I'll just put on some music, draw, sing, and just enjoy a nice relaxing evening. What moment / video / appearance do you think helped the growth of your channel the most? The thing that I saw boost the channel and then kept the momentum going was literally just covering the Acolyte. Some of my videos on the Acolyte were the most viewed I've ever had, and then after that, Snow White also really helped. But to be honest, I had kind of been like just chugging along on the channel, and when the Acolyte happened, numbers in a lot of different senses went up, and they never crashed. They just kind of continued and kept growing. So I would honestly say, if it wasn't for the Acolyte, this channel would not be where it is today. Do you do your costumes and video editing yourself or have a team? I don't make every single costume I make myself. I usually will either tag the company I bought it from, or if it's something that I worked on but had other people do pieces for me. Like when I've had wigs, I always tag my wig makers. I always tag my friends when they do any 3D printing work for me. But pretty much I do most of my own cosplay work unless otherwise specified. I do not have a team for anything. There is nobody helping anything here. Every single bit on this channel gets done by me. So there is no team. One woman show. That's it. Are you putting out stickers and calendars for next year? Yes. So I recently got a new iPad, so now I can get back to illustrating my stickers. I have a lot more designs that I want to make, and I'm definitely putting out a 2026 calendar. I have to think about who's going into it, and I have some more photo shoots planned, but keep an ear out because there will be calendars for 2026, and I'll make sure to announce those here. If you could have an evening with any 3 people, current, I guess that means currently alive, or from history, who would you pick? That is a really good question. I would say the first person would be Brandon Lee. I would love to express to him how important his last work is to me and what an impact I think his life made on a lot of people, including myself. I know that this second one probably sounds like a stupid answer, but my second choice would be Leonardo da Vinci, just because he was such a brilliant mind, especially for his time. I mean, he would be a genius today, but for the time period in which he lived, he was absolutely fascinating, so I would love to talk to somebody with that level of creativity. And my third person would be probably my best friend. I had a very close friend that passed away a few years back, and it was very unexpected and very sudden, and I think that there are a lot of things I would like to tell that person, so it would be really nice to be able to sit down with him again and share a couple of laughs. Are there cosplays or topics you avoid doing or talking about? Sure, so there are a lot of people that request cosplays like Savage Land Rogue, Vampirella, or things like Red Sonja. All of those, to me, are beautiful and have been accomplished by other cosplayers all over the world in all sorts of ways. I don't personally feel comfortable revealing that much of myself. It's just not something I'm comfortable with. I'm not shaming anybody for it, but I don't want that much of me to be out anywhere, so I would not do any of those. As far as topics, the big ones. Religion, politics. I am not a political commentator. I get a lot of people that do the whole, well, you have a big platform, it's your job to talk about politics. No, it's not. My job is entertainment. I am here to entertain you. If you've had a long day at work and all anybody talks about is politics, I would like to be your break from that. I don't want to talk religion. It's always deeply personal to people and up to interpretation. And as far as sex, there's no reason to get into it on this channel. Those three topics I very much ignore. Your top 5 favorite TV shows this year. I'm going to cheat because I'm not going to give you TV shows all from this year on account of the fact that I am not watching 5 TV shows from this year. I will say I really love Platonic. It's a show with Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen. Absolutely fantastic. Big recommend. I also really like The Studio. That's another Seth Rogen show. I am currently watching The Sopranos for the first time. Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm is also pretty good. That one is from this year. I'm currently also watching Castlevania because I only watched the first 2 seasons. So I'm going through the entire show. What cosplay have you done recently that you were more excited than you expected? Easy peasy. So I mentioned a few times on this channel that my first job ever way back in the day, I was actually a party princess. As I've gotten older and done more and more cosplays, there's always a fun aspect, not of cosplaying people that you feel like you resemble or you feel like have something in common with you. To me, more fun always comes from experimenting and being people that are totally different. So recently, I actually did Ariel. I had not dressed up as Ariel since 2019 for a princess party, and I bedazzled my own corset, I made my own seashell bra, and I honestly had so much fun in this cosplay, and I loved being this character so much, but it was so fun getting to be something completely different and something so recognizable. I really liked being the Little Mermaid. That was cool. How do you motivate yourself during the hard times in your life? I always joke around and say that I'm fueled by spite, but I've noticed that 99% of the time, if you let spite fuel you, whatever you put out also has a certain edge to it that isn't exactly natural or fun or enjoyable to other people. But as far as motivation is concerned, it really is just being your own gasoline. You are your own engine, and unfortunately, you cannot count on anybody else to fill your tank for you. And so when I feel low, either just because I don't have the motivation or because something has happened or whatever, it literally just takes me going, okay, we're gonna take a second to be sad about this or to be upset or whatever, and we're gonna get back on the horse. There's an old cowboy proverb that I read somewhere years ago which says the first thing to do when you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. And that's the best thing you can do, is climb out. Just think about all the things that you can do, because if you stay upset about things, nothing is ever gonna be resolved for you. It's kind of that mentality that keeps me going. Has there been a cosplay you were initially really excited to do but stopped before finishing? Boy, am I glad you asked. So back in the day, I knew I would never make it as a qualified 501st Boba Fett. That's not the cosplay that I got into the 501st with, but I knew I wanted to do Boba Fett. So a bunch of my friends in the Fett community, who are the sweetest people in the world, they helped me with color references, with pieces, with greeblies, all kinds of stuff. I did so much work on this cosplay. And I got to the point where the only things I had left were to mount the jetpack, as in create a rig where I could wear it. All I had to do after that was attach the cape. And when the Book of Boba Fett came out, I initially made that version just to have something for when the show came out. and 3 episodes in, they had basically ruined my favorite character of all time, and I never finished that cosplay. In fact, it's still sitting in a crate collecting dust. I just don't see myself ever finishing it. Ah yes, that question I mentioned earlier. When OnlyFans? No, just kidding, but for sure, most frequently asked question. Yeah, I get that one all the time, and I've always been upfront about it. There will never be an OnlyFans ever from me. I will literally quit YouTube and go work at an ad agency before I turn to OnlyFans. It's not what I want to do. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to see any more of me. My Patreon is specifically suitable for work. There is nothing risque, nothing, absolutely not. It's just not happening. Do you get into character when you cosplay for shoots or at events? If so, how? At events, I'm still always going to be Snarky J when you approach me, just because I have a duty to be myself and to treat you adequately. So if I was dressed as Sephiroth and you approached me, I'm not going to be aloof and kind of a dick just because I'm dressed as a guy who is aloof and kind of a dick. However, to walk around the convention center or that kind of thing, I do typically kind of have the character set in my mind so I can kind of figure out, well, this is how this person carries themselves, this is how they walk, this is kind of the attitude, the expression set. So it's not necessarily that I'm fully in character, but I do very much have the character present so that I can kind of use their mannerisms to complete the costume. With photo shoots though, I definitely get 100% in character. When I'm on camera, I don't just want to be like, oh, it's Jay dressed up as Catwoman. I want it to be Catwoman. I'm not worried about representing myself in a costume. I want to be that character. For me, it's more of an exercise in performance rather than just dressing up. If it's a comic book character, it's typically just pictures. If it's a movie or a cartoon or a video game, typically just clips and stuff will help. There are some characters that are fully ingrained in my mind that I don't need to do that for, but a big part when it comes to photo shoots is actually music. I have a playlist that's just like fun stuff to keep me energized when I'm on like a really big photo shoot day, when I do like 7 to 8 in a day. When I did Catwoman this last time, I had Wicked Game by Chris Isaak playing, and so that for me was kind of that sultry, manipulative kind of thing, and so it was really easy to get into the character. So for the most part, it's just obsession and good music that really helps me put myself in that character's shoes. Well, folks, this was our biggest Q&A yet, because this is our biggest milestone yet. I cannot tell you how absolutely grateful I am that even one person listens to me, but the fact that 300,000 of you are here, each and every one of you that takes the time to click, to watch, to subscribe, to hit that bell icon to get the notifications, that comments, that likes. There's a new hype button I didn't know about. All of that is so, so appreciated. I couldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and I'm so grateful that you guys choose to spend a little time with me out of your day. You could be doing so many other things, watching so many other people. The fact that you watch me means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. If you made it through this video, thank you so much. If I answered your question, thank you for sending one in. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. I literally got like 600 questions. I couldn't answer all of them. If you have a question now, either inspired by this video or you had a question that I didn't get to, please drop it in the comments, because I'm going to try and answer as many as I can in the comments on this video. And that's all from me. I've been Snarky J. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more Snarky J, be sure to check me out on Instagram. And if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I'll add links to all of those in the description below. And be sure to drop whatever burning question you have in the comments below.